Welcome.
You are watching Line Screw 1. Well, hello tubers, hope you're doing well wherever you are in this crazy YouTube universe. Now don't let the beautiful sunshine fool you. It's still cold out here. There's lots of snow around. But I figured I would take the time to do a video because Carolyn's up to it again. Now her friendlies, when they come over to my channel, they don't like free speech. And they go, why are you talking about her? Well, because I have that right. And if she didn't invite scandalous comments from her unusual and often deplorable behavior, people probably would just ignore her. But I got a few important things to say, because you know, I'm a person that believes in order and civility, and well, it appears Carolyn's RV life got a knock on her RV while she was in Maryland at 5 in the morning, and she was told to beat it.
Well, I got the knock. 5 o'clock in the morning.
And you're gonna ask, well, why? Well, because you're not allowed to do that there. And if you're not allowed to do that, Carolyn takes offense because you know, she's more important than you are, and she's more important than the local residents that actually pay the taxes and actually vote for the mayor and the city council that make these rules. If the locals find that that's an important rule for them, you're gonna have to respect that. You know, it's the old when in Rome, do as Romans. And look, I've spent a lot of time in many states in my RV, and you always have to have a legal place to park. There's places you can park on the side of the road, you know, especially here in Canada. There's places in northern Canada that are in unincorporated remote areas where you can pull off on the side of the road, you can camp for a day or two. Nobody's going to care. If the police even stop by, they're going to be more concerned that, are you broken down? Do you need assistance? That's pretty much it. Now, I'm sure even if there was no rules against it, if you started making problems and throwing trash everywhere and you know, attracting bears, things like that, they'd probably have something to say about it. But if you don't go out of your way to cause attention to yourself, like Carolyn did by parking in an urban center, I mean, let's face it, the eastern United States, I've spent time there. There's a lot of people, a lot of cities, a lot of rules. Wherever there's a lot of people, there's a lot of rules. But Carolyn thinks that rules should not apply to her for a variety of reasons. It could be her left-wing political persuasions, her entitlement syndrome, that maybe that came from childhood. I don't know. That's just a speculation and an opinion. But she goes on to rant about how the cop, you know, woke her up and told her to move it. Well, most cities have these rules. And I would say, Carolyn, she keeps thinking that this is a right of hers. Well, no. Let's clear this all up. Look, I've been a sworn member of various agencies in my past life many years ago. The way the laws work anywhere that has a constitution, like the United States or Canada, your rights are only in your state constitution and your federal constitution. That's it. No more, no less. That's the way it is. So trying to say that free parking and being able to live in your RV on the side of the road anywhere you want is a right, and it's infringing upon her right, is a bunch of hooey. Now, I am all for people fighting for their rights. Very important. Now, Carolyn would rather just bitch and complain rather than fight for her rights, because if she thought for a minute that her civil rights are being violated, all she needed to do was tell the constable that arrived to wake her up, write me a citation for everything that I did wrong, and please impound and seize my vehicle, and let's hash it out in front of a judge and see if my rights have been violated. It actually could have been a great fundraising campaign, because she could have pretended to be the victim in this case. She could have stayed in a beautiful hotel for maybe a month or two until this was straightened out with the courts, and if she lost, well, all she'd have to do is pay thousands of dollars of storage and impound fees and fines. That's all she would have had to do. But she didn't do that. And I've actually tried to do the same thing with other things in Canada. If you recall, years ago, there's a law in Canada that says you cannot photograph your voting ballot in a federal election. So what did I do? Well, took a picture of a ballot, and I did that with the expressed idea that the voting constables that are in charge of prosecuting people who do that would charge me, and I could take it through the courts and have that overturned because there is strong legal opinion that it's not constitutional and it actually restricts your rights. Now, I'm not saying that people should all tell people who they voted for, but those of us who are proud of who we vote for, we should be able to show that on the ballot and take a picture, put it on social media. But that's illegal, and I know I can have it overturned. So what did they do? The authorities kowtowed and just said, oh, sorry, we're not going to prosecute you, but don't do it again. Well, guess what? I will do it again at some point, and I will have the law overturned. And that's the way you do it. If you think a law is unconstitutional, you actually put yourself in a situation where you become a test case, and maybe you can become a famous person that overturns a law. It's been done tens of thousands of times in both Canada and the United States. That's how we have case law and decisions, right? That is the way the system is supposed to work. But Carolyn didn't do that. She'd rather just go on social media and bitch and complain about how she's hard done by. Well, guess what? She's just passing through. The laws are intended to focus on people like her. She's a vagrant. She is not contributing to the local economy. Now, yes, she says, oh, I spent my money. Yeah, okay, yeah, the $10 you spent for avocado and toast, the few pennies of taxes that went into the local economy really doesn't justify you living as a vagrant in your vehicle on the side of the road in a town. It doesn't, okay? I don't know what community would invite that. Well, actually, I do. It's cities like Los Angeles, Portland, Seattle, and Vancouver. If Carolyn is so concerned about a place to park in an urban setting on the side of the road, why doesn't she come to where her liberal fellows are? She can fellowship with all the other left-wing radical homeless vagrants on the streets of Portland with her RV. Yeah, she can do that. But oh no, she wants to be like a carpetbagger. You know, a carpetbagger, a politician that brings their crazy ideas and parachutes into your local community when they're not even part of it and then wants to change things. Well, that's exactly what she's doing. She is taking her radical ideas and exporting them all over the place and complaining when the rest of the world wants to do things their way and not her way. And she actually mentions her radicalization in the video.
I know. I almost feel like I'm getting a little more radical.
So it's all very peculiar and unfortunate because she needs to have a legal place to stay. Everywhere that I travel, I'm either parked in somebody's driveway of somebody I know, where I'm allowed to be there and I don't overstay the welcome. Same with at RV parks. They all have limits of how long you can stay and how you can stay. It's the way it is. You gotta pay to play. There's just no two ways around it. Now, I know things are getting tougher for her because she lives off the avails of other people, sending her money through her memberships and Patreon and all that kind of stuff. So things are getting harder for you, the viewers, so you're not sending her as much money. So I don't know what the solution is. Maybe you need a second or third job so you can send her more money so that she can stay in a nice RV park and keep traveling. She's only been on a perpetual vacation for, 6 or 7 years? Now, the other strange thing is she's probably got a lot of pushback in the comment section of her video. But she is like North Korea or China, and she's censoring that all away. But she's let the odd comment slip through. Let's take a look at one of them. So let's get to one of the comments that she graciously allowed to remain on her comment thread of their video. The comment was by B. Lynn, and they state, I think a lot of what you were saying was because you were tired and upset. Laws are made to keep us all safe and hopefully our cities and towns running safely and smoothly. You know they can't allow you to camp overnight if it's against the law. Then they'd have to allow everyone to do that. The cop was nice enough to let you stay the night, even if you think 5 a.m. is still the middle of the night. He could have asked you to leave at 10 or 11, as he was possibly supposed to do. Carolyn, in her infinite wisdom, responds twice. Her first response is nope. I think about important social issues and think critically and philosophically, even when I'm not tired. We need more of that, in my humble opinion. We've become sheep, following without thinking. Wow, so what Carolyn is saying here, let's read between the lines. That comment means that if she personally, philosophically, or critically thinks the law doesn't apply to her, then it does not. But just as I had mentioned, she's not willing to take it to court, hire an attorney, and do it the right way in terms of overturning the law if she thinks she is wronged. Anyway, in her second comment, she goes on to say, I also think it's a bit naive to think all laws were made to keep all people safe. What people? Those with the most money and clout? What about the poor and disadvantaged? The homeless who need to sleep in their vehicles? Those laws certainly weren't made to keep them safe. Well, actually it is. The laws are made to keep them safe. The laws that say thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not steal. These are all laws that actually do protect the poor and the disadvantaged. I actually disagree with you, Carolyn. You're just massaging the law to say, well, in this instance, I really don't like the law because it now applies to me, and I don't like it, and I'm complaining. Carolyn, you've got a lot to learn about the way the laws work, and they actually apply to you also, newsflash. So what do you folks think about Carolyn's sense of self-entitlement? Would you welcome her to roll into your local community and do as she wishes and tell you you are wrong to have your rules that you paid for through your city council and your mayor? Would you like that? You want that? Well, I don't know why she isn't with her people on the left coast there where they don't enforce those kinds of laws. I mean, that's really the only solution. You gotta go where you're welcome. And if you're not paying to be welcome by being in an RV park or a campground, well, you might as well just go hang out with the homeless in Portland, because obviously they're welcome there. So that's my thoughts. I don't know why she does this to herself, always complaining that the rules shouldn't apply to her. Just like seatbelt laws, they don't apply to her, but it's good for her. If she has an accident, she'll suffer the consequences. Good for her. Same with her dog doesn't need to be on a leash without respect to leash laws. Well, if her dog gets attacked by a raccoon or a black bear or hit by a car, well, she'll have to suffer those consequences, and unfortunately the dog will too. But Carolyn's a special case. She's one of those people that needs special rules and believes that the rules should not apply to her, and at the same time won't take the time, money, and effort to fight these laws in court and see if they're actually truly constitutional or legal, because that's the way the courts are supposed to work. The courts challenge the legislatures, and we'll see if the laws are actually fair. But she's not interested in that. She just wants to complain on YouTube about how she's hard done by and how the local constabulary woke her up and destroyed her beauty sleep at 5 a.m. Well, guess what, folks? The law is the law. She wasn't obeying it, and on top of that, her beauty sleep wasn't working. You put your comments down below. I hope you're having a great day. In the meantime, folks, stay safe. Keep your wheels in the ground. I'll talk to you soon. Over and out.
It's because they didn't want transients.
Can go to figure out what we've done, what we need, what to do. Yeah, I got you, I got you, I got you.